So welcome everybody to our monthly community of practice. Thank you all for joining us. This one will be hosted by myself and the CRS team. So Aletha Alexander, Sharon Bergfield, Christina Erlin, and myself. We can go ahead to the next slide. A couple of things before I go through this agenda. Just as always, please keep off your cameras when you are speaking. Please state your name. Feel free to turn on your camera when you are speaking. If you have questions, you can react. Open your mouth and let us know. We'll definitely give you guys some breaks for any questions, comments throughout. So for the agenda for today's community of practice, we will do the little intro. We'll go over the numbers and some July highlights. And then we have Sandy Smith with us from Imagine Enterprises. I think most of you have met Sandy Smith in some capacity, either at the Executive Summit or during our ES meeting. So Sandy is going to be talking to benefits and also about sort of the process in engaging in the benefits counseling that we are going to provide here through SWTC. We're going to set some time aside for a Q&A after Sandy's presentation. And then, like the last community of practice, we will do one of those quizzes. Will be based around the information that Sandy's about to provide. So please keep your eyes open, keep your ears open, make some notes if you need to. It's a lot of content, but it's a lot of good content. I think that it's going to be really beneficial to everyone working in this program. And then, of course, we are going to celebrate one of our customers. This month, it'll be Gabby at Human Support Services. And then finally, we will just have some time to have an open discussion. You're free to bring any sort of questions, comments, concerns, whether it's something to do with what we've talked about today, or if it's just something that's been on your mind. Feel free to bring it up in the chat, use your voice, however you want to communicate that with us. We are happy to have those. All right, we can move on to the next slide. All right, so some July highlights, a lot of stuff going on. So Sylphie's Media has made their initial trips out to each agency and footage. So they are going back and working on some edits alongside us as a team. We've been consulting with them on the. So we will be sharing those with you at some point here. So please know that's in the works. And that is an ongoing process. So these stories are going to be told over time, right? John and his team are going to capture, client members throughout this process to sort of put together a whole story. From July, we have ACRE certified SWTC team members. So that is awesome. Thank you everyone for participating. Hope you saved some of that information. It's a lot of information. I know. So please feel free if you have questions about it. We are still here to talk about it. We have the VCU folks here to consult as well. And then for the upcoming fall ACRE certification, so that registration is opened now. We can put a link in the chat for you. And any individual, if you have anybody new on your team or any that wants to be ACRE certified, the registration is open until August 26th, and that course begins on September 16th. And then there was a SWTC Illinois Executive Community of Practice. So this is something you can find on the SWTC webpage. This was a virtual event that was recorded. So if you're interested in that, you can find that on our website. You can take a look and see, what those discussions were, what they entailed, and, sort of some ideas of what SWTC is going to look like in the future. So I would encourage you all to take a look at that. And then finally, we just want to say congratulations to everyone. We want to thank everyone for the work that you've put in. We appreciate everyone's commitment to the SWTC Illinois project. We know that it's a lot. I'm sure that it's come with a lot of really new and great success stories and also some new barriers. So we just appreciate everyone's diligence and staying committed to this program. And then something that's not on the slide I want to bring up is the SWTC annual meeting. So this is a meeting that's going to take place on October 7th and October 8th. This is going to be in Champaign at the I Hotel, and this is going to work. This is going to be the replacement of the kickoff event. So similar to that, obviously we're not kicking off anymore because the ball is in play. So this will be sort of the annual meeting where we're discussing how this first year went. So again, this is something that you need to register for. A link will be put in the chat for that. And this is for everybody. This is for the ESs, program supervisors, anybody who is involved in that kickoff event. We want your attendance at this event. So again, registration is required by August 30th. So that'll be in the chat, and feel free to reach out with any questions, comments, concerns about that. We're happy to talk about it. And then finally, I want to welcome Rebecca Palmer to the SWTC team. So Rebecca has started at Centerstone. She will be the new ES at Centerstone. So you're going to see a new name popping around. Please welcome her if you see her name, if you see her on an email. So really great to have you on the team, Rebecca. I hope you made it into the event here today, and look forward to working with you. We can move on to the next slide, please. Okay, here's our numbers. So we just want to show you this because it shows, general progress. I mean, everything is moving upwards, right? As we move throughout this project, we started down low, and each month these numbers are going up and up. So it's just a visual representation of all the good work that everyone's been putting in to increase those numbers, get more jobs, get more people connected with DRS, and just get more people in the program in general. So really, really great job to everyone out there putting in the work. There's a lot of moving parts to make these things happen, to get that successful outcome. So everyone is doing awesome. We really appreciate it. And we can move on to the next slide. And at this point, I'm going to hand it over to my colleague, Aletha. View it, buddy.
Yes. Hi, Kyle. Hello, everybody. I'm really excited about this community of practice event. And we try to share a quote with everyone that sort of describes where we are and offers encouragement as we move forward. And so this month I was asked to provide a quote. And so this is the one that I chose. Dr. Maya Angelou, she's one of the greatest poet I believe that's ever lived. She's also an author and a civil rights leader, just an amazing person in our time. She has since passed away, of course, but this is one of my favorite quotes, and I hope you will appreciate it and understand what my intentions were in providing it. So, we delight in the beauty of the butterfly, but we rarely admit the changes it has gone through to achieve that beauty. And I think we could connect this to the work that we do every day with SWTC and with our SWTC customers. And so thank you for allowing me to share this quote with you. I hope that you'll take it with you and kind of, to internalize it and understand that this is real good work that we're doing, and we're seeing some great results. It is, in fact, changing so many lives. And I hope that we have more lives involved as we move the program forward, and we can see how successful SWTC has been. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Aletha. So I think we're ready. We do the next slide for Sandy up next. Oh, this is for, wait, we need Sandy's slides.
I'm doing the slides from.
Oh, okay. Here. Sandy's doing so. Okay, so I'm just going to then do a brief. Okay, so many of you remember Sandy Smith. We did a kind of a meet and greet with her a few weeks ago, and then prior to this meeting, Kreider Services got to meet her. But she is part of our SWTC team. She's from Imagine Enterprises in Texas. She has a wealth of knowledge and is our kind of our expert on benefits. So, so SSI, SSDI, Social Security stuff, all of that related, all things. So Sandy's going to do kind of a overview of the benefits planning that's the SWTC team, that us CRSs are going to be offering in order to help create informed consumers so that our individuals understand, the impact that working may have on their benefits and how some things can be mitigated, and just so that they are well aware. And we also want to clear up some of the misinformation that's been out there for eons. So anyway, Sandy, the floor is yours.
All right. Can everybody see my screen and hear my voice?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Sandy.
Okay, good. All right. Well, I am honored to be here, and I am super honored to be working with these guys in Illinois. I think you guys are all amazing. Some of you have met me before. I'm not going to turn on my video just because I don't want to. I am going to show you my picture now. So there I am. And I am actually the Chief Operating Officer for a small organization called Imagine Enterprises. It started out with 6 of us, and we've since grown to about 32. I've been there for about 25 years, going on 26. But I've been in the field for 45 years. And during that time, I have worked with supported employment for a long time, community-based employment services, 25 years, working with benefits. And you'll notice that 5-year gap in there. That means for 5 years, I was getting people a job without understanding their benefits. So you can bet your sweet bippy that once I figured out these benefits, I had a lot of guilt and a lot of backtracking to do. And also you guys work with VCU, and that's kind of how I got associated with Jim and the University of Illinois. For 12 years, I was one of the national trainers and liaisons for the benefits programs that Virginia Commonwealth University oversees and trains on. So not bragging about my resume, but I'm trying to show you that I actually kind of know what I'm doing, and I've been around for a while. Some people might say too long. Here's some of the programs that I oversee. We have the WIPA program, and that's the statewide, every state has a benefits planning person or persons in their state. We cover 53 counties in Texas. We have a statewide employment network, and we have recently added Colorado. We have a board member from Colorado, and she keeps us busy. We call our vocational rehab, Texas Workforce Commission Vocational Rehab. We are a provider with them, so we provide all kinds of employment with them. I'm working with the Kansas University, the University of Kansas, where we're working on self-determination. And then when you see beacons of excellence on the next thing, that just means SWTC too. I am working with the Texas SWTC, and now I'm honored to be working with the Illinois SWTC. And so I am just happy to be here. A little bit about Imagine Enterprises. It was developed over a kitchen table. My boss and one of my mentors were just sitting at the table one day, decided that they needed to open up an organization to do everything the right way. And I think we've done a good job. You will see benefits and employment there, and some of the services we offer there. There is another chief operating officer. I am over benefits and employment, and she is over the financial management for consumer-directed services. So we help them with their budgets, paying their staff, that type of thing. So Imagine's pretty cool. We believe that absolutely everybody can go to work given the proper supports. We think that it brings maturity. And I mean, we have just watched people blossom when they go to work. Some people are working 10 hours a week because that's all they can do. Other people are working over 40 hours because that's what they want to do. And that was selfish. Imagine's whole mission is we are always proactive, not reactive. Now, do we react to people's mistakes? Yes. But we try to be proactive in giving people enough information so that they can make an informed decision on their own. And we're just kind of the caretakers. So if you will see here, I have added a little word that says home because I am actually from Iowa. So when I got the chance to work with Illinois, I was thrilled because sometimes I just bounce over to Iowa on my way home. So one of the things I want to say in all seriousness, because those of you who have heard me speak know I bring a lot of energy and I try to bring comedy into it. But it's really, really important that we understand that SWITC represents a transformative steps towards ensuring that people with disabilities have access to meaningful competitive employment. And by fostering inclusion through the workshops and promoting the financial security, that's a big one. SWITC would not only increase the quality of their life, but also enrich the broader community. So getting a job sounds like a lot of fun. But remember that 5-year gap I had between when I was helping people get jobs and when I learned about benefits? 5 years. Benefits planning is crucial to getting employment. So during these SWITC transitions, or even when SWITC is gone, when people who are on benefits go to work, we have to let them know financially what impact is it going to have on the benefits, the insurance, the housing, the SNAP. There's a lot of benefits that people are receiving that they need to know that they'll be okay. So we want to ensure that individuals understand how that employment will impact their financial situation. Effective benefits planning, when it's done well, alleviates concerns about losing essential supports. It empowers the person to want to pursue and maintain employment. But mostly, employment and benefits is a holistic approach. It's a holistic approach to the vital success of them securing a job and becoming a job, not only a job worker, but a taxpayer. They develop friends and colleagues. It's just been so much fun watching the hundreds of people that we have worked with over the years just come back to us, and they're just doing so well. So this is a pretty easy GIF. It's work and benefits go hand in hand, right? Don't go get people a job if they have benefits, because when their benefits start going down or they start getting letters about, I see that you're working, the knee-jerk reaction is to quit or to cut hours. I want to inform the state of Illinois that is not always necessary. Most of the time, it is not necessary. So there is a process, and this is a process Kyle and Aletha and Sharon, so that we get this right the first time, okay? All right, so there's the referral, right? The employment referral. So we find a participant who wants to work and they're wanting to go out in the community and get a job. So we're going to get a referral for that. I say we, meaning SWITC in Illinois, right? And so once we get that referral and the employment specialist is out there looking for a job, we're verifying benefits. We're giving them scenarios. We're helping that family, that person, that support group understand that we know you've been here for a long time. Going out in the community can be scary. So we're going to analyze your benefits. We're going to verify everything. And then we're going to play little scenario games, right? Where we do the calculation sheets that if you work at 30 hours, you're going to get this much. If you work at 20 hours, this is what's going to happen. If you work at 40 hours, this is what's going to happen. So while the employment specialist is looking for the job, our CRSs are out there verifying and talking to everybody around that participant, including the participant especially, so that when a job is secured, that's when the benefits plan is written. We are going to write a formal plan, and I say formal with tongue in cheek. It's going to be a plan that explains, now that you've accepted this job, this is what you can expect to happen to your benefits. We're being proactive to prevent any overpayments or high overpayments, this is what you have to do. Okay? And so this process is important and you can't skip a step. If your job is to get a job, make sure that benefits is a part of it. Now, I am not going to read this to you, but this is kind of what I said is when the left side, the employment specialists, are doing their job search, simultaneously, the CRSs are over here on the right side getting the family, the person, the guardian, the facility ready for them to get a community job. Okay? And so we kind of work hand in hand with the employment specialist. We do not expect the employment specialist to be an expert in benefits. I have visited with most of the employment specialists, and we have talked about how do you present this to the family? What if they have questions? What are your concerns in presenting this to the family? So another part of my job is to make sure that the employment specialists and the CRSs are equipped and comfortable. And that's the big word, because if families feel like you don't know what you're talking about, they're going to shut down. And I mean, they're going to shut down fast. So my job is to get everybody to a point of comfort so that when you talk to these people, the family, again, the guardian or the participant, that we are talking with knowledge and we are talking with support and we are talking knowing that the 64-year-old lady who's got years, decades of experience is waiting to help. You know, we're going to be doing surveys. We're going to be taking this into the school. We are talking to the benefits plan. Sorry, I just lost my train of thought. But mostly we are identifying, introducing, verifying, and solidifying in a proactive manner financial planning. Because they're going to start getting a check. They're used to having these benefits, and we need to make sure that we are with them. Because if not, these are all the emotions of community employment. How do I know? My decades of experience. If you look at the left side, right? So let's say there's this guy, and I'm just going to pick on Goodwill here in Texas because, like I said, I'm working with the Texas SWTC too, right? So let's say he's only been to Goodwill, right? So he's pretty comfortable. He's been there since he graduated high school. Maybe it's been 10 years, maybe it's been 5 years, maybe it's been 20 years, right? Suddenly, here comes this group of people who say, hey, how would you like to get a community job? Well, they might say, yeah, but if they have a guardian or payee, you're going to see some fear and anxiety. Nervousness, safety concerns is a big one. They're going to disbelieve that you're even approaching them to get a job. Hesitate, resistance, confusion. I mean, all of those. But you know what? That's legit because there's so much misinformation out there. There's so much confusion and people talking to people when they don't know what they're talking about. And I'm even talking kind of about Social Security and VR and other agencies too. Don't talk with authority unless you have it. And that's one of the reasons why Jim and I spoke, and I agreed to sign on and just help him get this down. Now, your CRSs are smart little cookies. They're going to catch on pretty fast, and they'll probably get me out of a job here pretty fast because I have worked with them. I'm still working with them because I want them to get to the right side where that person and their support system feels empowered, enlightened, knowledgeable, prepared. Remember, we're proactive, not reactive. They know that they're supported because they have you, they have the CRSs, they have me, right? And then we're going to see them grow and mature, have financial freedom, and feel a sense of independence that maybe they didn't know. Now, sometimes it's baby steps because they might need to go back to where they're familiar when they're not working in the community so that they can still kind of pull away slowly and not just kind of pull the scab off the wound, right? But the number one question, the number one barrier is what's going to happen to my benefits and my health insurance, right? And so that's where I come in because I'm going to be behind the scenes helping you put together this puzzle because, and I want you to look at the right side, look at the puzzle. Can you see the picture? Can you make it out? Yes. Are the pieces connected? No. So the little bit of a bump on the table is going to mess up that puzzle, right? That puzzle is not connected. There's a bunch of pieces supporting this person, but they're not connected. So we're pieces of the puzzle, all of us, or we wouldn't be on this call, right? To help participants get jobs in the community and not have to worry about X, Y, and Z because we're prepared and we're doing it while the job search is on for them. Huge important. The other thing too is, we're going into this family saying, trust me, right? We think Sandy should go get a job in the community. And they think you're just full of beans, right? And so, as the employment specialists have this relationship with these support systems already, and they're just wonderful. They have the in already because they have that communication with these folks, right? And so they gently introduce them to the CRS and introduce me that, I've been around since Moses brought down the 10 Commandments, right? But all of us, every one of you guys, and probably more who aren't on this call, have to build the trust, because without trust, somebody's going to take the puzzle apart. And when the puzzle's not together, pieces are going to fall apart. And here's my number one thing, especially working with the SWTC projects in Illinois and Texas. If this is their first community job and we do it wrong, they may never get another chance to do it because nobody will trust another person, right? So trust is a big thing. Don't go in there saying, trust me, I'm a professional. Like I was saying, hey, I've got, 45 years of experience, because during that 45 years, I never guessed. I verified. I let my actions speak louder than any words, and people tell me I use a lot of words. So I apologize for that. And then be on time, be responsive, right? We are telling families or people who have never worked in the community before, trust us, we gotcha. Those are just words, right? We need to earn their trust. Excuse me while I'm taking, this is a big one. I could spend 30 minutes just talking about this, right? If they don't trust you immediately, that's fine. Let's meet them where they are and keep pushing forward, even if it's baby steps. Because if they don't trust us, but they just allow us to move on, the minute they get a letter, I promise you, the minute their SNAP is stopped, I promise you, they will pull that child from the job. They will pull that adult from the job. The adult will quit because there's just too much fear and scariness out there. I'd use the word weird, but that seems to be, it's just very scary. Okay. So one of the first things we do is we get a consent so that we can get from Social Security something called the benefits planning query. Social Security speaks in acronyms. So if I say BPQY, that's what I'm talking about. It's a benefits planning query. And what it is it's a snapshot of what Social Security knows about this person. Okay. And I'm going to just go ahead and show it to you. This is a copy of the BPQY. And what it does is it tells us what kind of benefits they get. It tells us when they started the benefits, how much they get. Do they have others on their record? In other words, this person has a child also receiving a benefit from them. Is there an overpayment? When will their disability be reviewed again? And this is important. Is there a rep payee? Because a rep payee trumps the participant in the eyes of Social Security. Now, that doesn't mean if the person's their own guardian, they can't make some decisions. But when it comes to Social Security and money, the representative payee needs to be on board. And I am happy. I have talked to millions, it seems like, of representative payees. Because again, it's a change. Even good change is hard, right? We've heard that all of our lives, right? This talks about health insurance. This talks about the work incentives for both programs. This tells past earnings, right? So we get this document and the CRSs have done the intake and things don't match up. Like this guy says, I've never worked in the community, yet there's work earnings there. So what is real? Were there work earnings or not? Or maybe the check amount was different. Okay? Or maybe it says no on the rep payee, but there is. The reason we start with the benefits planning query is because any advisement we give them about their benefits for Social Security are going to fall away because Social Security doesn't agree with us. So the first thing we do is make sure that this benefits planning query is correct. And then once it's correct, we can move forward with planning because everybody agrees. Here's the other reason why you want to do benefits, okay? This is the other reason why don't go get a job because you may not know what benefit they have, right? Everybody knows SSI, but did you know it doesn't stand for Social Security Insurance? It stands for Supplemental Security Income because it's a needs-based program. You have to be eligible for it. So everybody thinks, oh, they have a disability, they get SSI. Maybe not. Because under this red umbrella is what's called the entitlement program. It's called Title II, that's the name of the law. But under the red umbrella are people who have paid in enough FICA tax that they are considered an insured worker, right? And so if you look at these first three, retirement, survivors, child in care, they have nothing to do with disability. So if you're working in a school system, and now Christina, I'm so sorry, I forgot about you on the CRSs, but Christina's going to be working with the schools. So maybe some of those students are getting a check because a parent passed away and they're under the age of 18. It has nothing to do with benefits. It has everything to do with the fact that this person and his siblings had a parent who passed away who was an insured worker. So none of these disability benefits work for them. The disability benefits come down below where it says disability, and you don't need to worry about these acronyms. I'm just going to tell you. Under SSDI, the insured worker is the person with the disability. They went to work. They paid in enough FICA. CDB, childhood disability benefits, that means that a parent went to work and they paid in enough. They're the insured worker and they are deceased, disabled, or retired. And as we work with some of the 14 Cs, we have a lot of aged, when we don't have teenagers anymore, right? So one of the first questions I'm going to be talking to the CRSs about when we're looking at those 14 Cs is, where are their parents, right? Where are their parents? Are they planning to retire? Are they about to pass away? Because even if they're living in a group home, when that parent retires or passes away, this person will qualify for CDB. All right. Disabled widowers benefits. That's pretty easy. Guess who the insured worker was, right? The spouse. Now you're probably thinking, well, Sandy, you said that if they get survivors benefits, it's not disability related, but if they're CDB, it is disability related. The difference with that is survivors isn't related to disability and it ends at 18 or 19 if they're still in post-secondary. And then they transition to CDB. Okay, so I am talking about two different things. The first three are not disability related, and the last one with the three acronyms are. So you're going to see that red umbrella pop up, but we're going to spend some time on SSI. And when I came to Illinois, I had, oh, my slide will not advance. When I came to Illinois, I was pleased and shocked that Illinois' minimum wage is $14 an hour. Now, I like to say I live in Texas. Actually, I get my mail in Texas because, as you can see, I hailed from Iowa and I claim Iowa. But in Texas, minimum wage is $7.25. So when someone in Texas gets a part-time job, I'm like, okay, we're going to get to you, but we're going to focus on those who are working full-time first. You guys, whenever I give you an example, we're going to look at your minimum wage amount at part-time so that you can see why this is urgent and why this could easily become an emergency situation of losing cash benefits, having an impact if there's, there's just so much. I don't know, I have limited time, so I don't want to get into it. But in focusing on SSI, how Social Security looks at SSI and earnings is different than that red umbrella Title II and earnings, okay? So with SSI, what they do is they take your gross wage, they minus $20, they minus 65, and they divide it by 2. And that's how much of the earnings that they're going to count when deciding if you're still eligible for SSI, and if so, how much. Because with SSI, the check goes up and down depending on how much you bring in, okay? So they ignore 20, they ignore 65, and then they divide it by 2. So if I worked part-time in Illinois, 20 hours a week at $14 an hour, I am going to gross approximately $1,212.40. Now, for those of you who are doing math, trying to catch me in an error, I'm going to tell you the figure that Social Security uses is hourly rate times hourly per week times 4.33, because that's the average number of weeks in a year. So that's what I did. I took 14 times 20 times 4.33, okay? So this person's gross wages at part-time is that amount, and we're going to minus the 20. We're going to minus the 65. We're going to divide by 2, okay? So of the $1,112.40, Social Security is going to count $563.70. So what do? With that, they take it from the highest the SSI check can be this year. Now, this is a federal amount. All states have the same threshold, okay? In 2024, it's $943. Well, at their part-time job in Illinois, they're going to subtract the countable income that we got from the other page. And now the check for SSI is going to be $379.30. Now, I am speaking to all the employment specialists because I've been there, done that. When they see their check go down, they're out. They want to quit. They want to reduce their hours. They are in so much fear of losing their check and losing their Medicaid. And I am here to tell you, I don't have time today, but I'm working with the CRSs. They know the answer. And soon the employment specialist will know the answer, that they will have more money, that it's okay. They're not going to lose their SSI. They're not going to be terminated. They're not going to lose their check, okay? So one of the things that I came up with when I was an employment specialist was step 5, right? You know, once I got my act together and I learned about benefits, boy, I was on it when I was still getting people jobs, okay? So the revised SSI check, instead of $943, it's now $379.30. But I'm going to add their paycheck, $1,212.40. So, you know, Sandy, do you want to have 943? Or would you like to have $1,591.70? I don't know. This is what keeps them employed. This is informed choice, okay? This is letting them know it's okay. You're still getting a check. You still have your Medicaid. Life is good, all right? And of course, there's more to the story that you can't say in 30 minutes, so I'm not going to try, all right? Okay, so here's another reason why you do benefits when you're helping somebody find a job. Remember the Red Umbrella program? I said when you pay in enough FICA tax, you're going to be an insured worker, so you become eligible for the Title II check, right? You guys remember me saying that? So I've been working since I was 14, and the maximum number of credits that a person without a disability needs is 40. I've had 40 credits for decades, right? So I know that I am eligible for retirement. I even get that cute little letter from Social Security on my birthday that says, should I acquire a disability? This is my check, right? So How many credits you need really depends on how old you are. So again, kind of, Christine, I'm talking to you, but for you guys who work with adults, the number is 40, okay? But if you're working with transition age youth, they only need 6 credits if they're under the age of 24. Now, to earn one of those credits, you have to have enough gross earnings to total $1,730, right? Every time you hit that amount, be it 1 check, 2 check, 5 checks, whenever the checks add up to $1,730, you're going to get 1 credit. You can get up to 4 credits in a calendar year. So let's look at an example on how long it would take somebody who's transition age, okay? And for you guys who have somebody who needs 40, I mean, you guys can do the same thing on how long it will take you, all right? So in 2024, we're going to use that same thing we've done already. 20 hours a week, $14 an hour. There's that $1,212.40 again, right? In 2 months, they're going to have grossed $2,224.80. So that's a credit. And there's still some remaining, right? So we can estimate that every 2 months, that person's going to get 1 more credit. So they can end their first year, their first calendar year, with 4 credits. So when they start their second year of work, they only need 2 more credits to get 6. Okay. Now, for those of you who work with adults and they've been working for a while, I can work with you and I can work with the CRSs on how to call Social Security and find out how many credits that they have. All right. But it's important to know, even if somebody's on SSI and we get them a job through SWITC, but suddenly they're now eligible for Title II, if the family doesn't know this, again, they're going to shut it down because they don't understand. All right. So that's what happens with SSI. It's the minus 20, minus 65, divide by 2, subtract it from the highest your SSI check can be. Okay. Now, Title II, whole different story. So open up another compartment in your brain because we're leaving SSI and we're going to Title II. Again, this is an entitlement program. Somebody's paid in FICA. There's an insured worker, right? So how much their check isn't based on limited income and resources. Bill Gates, who has retired, I'm sure, and is collecting a check, will get a higher check than I ever would think of getting because he's paid in more. But when I retire, my check will be higher than someone that's worked over minimum wage all their life because I've paid in more than them. So how much you get depends on how much you paid in. All right. So the other thing with Title II, you get your whole check or you get no check. Okay. So they have different work incentives. Another reason why you need benefits planning, because they have this thing called a trial work period. Go to work, earn as much money as you want. We don't care. You can earn $1 million a month. We don't care. We're still going to send you your check. Okay. But when you show us that you can do 9 months of earning over the threshold, which this year is $1,110, and you can do 9 of those months in a 5-year period, we're stopping your check. No, not really. There's another work incentive, and it's called the substantial gainful activity, right? It's the extended period of eligibility. So here, what they're doing is they're still looking, but now they're taking some work incentives into consideration because now they want to know if your countable, not your gross, is above or below $1,550. I can't tell you how much you can earn because I don't know what they can deduct because there's lots of work incentives. I'm sharing this with you today not to confuse you, but kind of to confuse you because I want you to know you need an expert in the room to get the benefits right so your employment ventures are always successful. Always successful. All right. So we've talked about SSI and we talked about Title II. They're two different pots of money. Some people might have both of them, and that's okay. We can work with that too. But I showed you just a glimpse, just a little fraction of what we do in benefits planning that I'm not asking you to learn. What I'm asking you to do is to respond to, oh my goodness, I had no idea there were so many different programs. I had no idea that this one went down, but this one just went away. I need you to keep that whatever the feeling is, confusion or fear or whatever, so that you remember you need a benefits planner on board. All right. And then equally important, and we'll be teaching the employment specialists this too, is you have to report their monthly wages. Now, this is just a little humor. You can do it. You can't do it through osmosis, and you can't do it by um, um, the snail mail. I guess you could. I wouldn't though, because Social Security has a black hole. But you have to report wages every month, or you could get in trouble. Right? Or not you, you're going to get your paycheck, but the person could get an overpayment. So what we say and what we'll teach the employment specialists and the CRSs already know, you have to take all of your pay stubs for July for that month and report them by the following month, August 6th, right? So I get all of my check for this month, and I'm going to report it by the next month by the 6th. Okay? And do you see here? There's two different phone numbers to call, right? If you have both benefits, you have to report to two different people. And they don't talk to each other, neither do their computers. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen, all right? But this is where you call or you go to the office. If you call in, they will mail you a receipt. Don't throw it away. That's what we're going to teach them. Hopefully, I can talk to Jim about getting some accordion folders or some kind of box for them to put all of their stuff in so that we can go through it when we meet with them, or they have it ready when Social Security comes. But that receipt says, oh no, I reported, sorry, because Social Security makes mistakes. Now, if you take it into the local office, again, you want to ask for a receipt. I am begging, although it is an option, that you can mail them in. I don't want you to mail them in. The black hole is a thing and it resides at Social Security. So these are all of the reasons I am begging you to do benefits planning while you're getting a job. So when the job offer is there, a plan can be written, and we're always moving in a proactive fashion. Will there be things we have to react to? Yes. But if you do it in a proactive fashion, life is much easier. But if you move forward because you have these numbers or whatever, and you're getting all these jobs, but there's no benefits planning, those jobs are going to go away because people will quit because they don't understand. We are part of the puzzle too. Don't let the horse puzzle fall apart. And life has no limitations except the ones we make. And may I say, or the ones we might make for other people, right? We want to give them the informed consent.
Sandy, I'm giving you just a 5-minute heads up.
No, I'm done.
Oh,
So,
perfect.
so because everybody deserves a livable wage. I don't tell anybody in Texas that your minimum wage is $14 an hour because you guys have already done the scale. You guys went from $7.25 to $15 because everybody's worth more, right? COVID taught us that. So, this is how I feel about SWTC in Illinois. Houston, we have a dream team, and I'm ready to go. I am ready to help. Here is my contact information. Thank you for listening. I hope I stayed within my time. I think I did. I'm just going to hand it to whoever was speaking to me.
You nailed it.
Stop sharing.
Yeah, if you want to stop sharing, but if anyone, we're a little bit ahead of schedule. Look at that, Sandy. You rocked and rolled. Does anyone have any questions that they want to ask Sandy, or as Sandy shared, you can shoot her an email separately. Feel free to raise your hand or you can unmute yourself. If not, we can go ahead and keep rocking and rolling.
Christina, Aletha speaking. I just want to encourage the group to feel free to reach out to Sandy. You can reach out to her through your CRSs, or you can reach out to her independently. She's very, very available, very approachable, and has so much knowledge. Sandy, you did a great job. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And Christina, yes, I did get my hair cut.
It looks nice.
If I can add though, if you do reach out to Sandy, if you could include your CC your CRS, so that way, we're in the know as well. So that, there might be something that we can help with or whatever. So just remember to CC your CRS when you're reaching out to her, with your questions.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And please know, I'm very excited to be working with all of you guys. I want to get this right. I want Illinois to be amazingly successful. And I hope you invite me to your annual meeting so we can meet face to face.
So again, I'm Aletha Alexander, and I feel so privileged to be able to work with the SWTC project in general. But I'm also very proud of the two teams that I'm assigned to work with, both at Centerstone in West Frankfort and with Human Support Services in Waterloo. Really proud of both of those teams. Today's customer case study is being presented by the SWTC team at Human Support Services. Employment Specialist Michelle Crawford will be sharing with you about an amazing young lady that she is working with at Human Support Services. I will now introduce you to Michelle Crawford. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, everyone. I'm Michelle. I am the employment specialist we call her Gabby Jones. She is in our youth program. She has been working at Schnucks for a little over 2 months. She started at $14 an hour. She had originally started at about 22 hours a week. Now she's up to 26, and she's wanting to increase that even more. Next page. So her counselor at DRS is Tracy Williams. Aletha is our great community research specialist. I am the employment specialist. She does not have a personal support worker at this time. Wraparound, she has none at this time. She just graduated high school in May, so this is her first job. And her family supports are her mom, her dad, and her sister. At the job, Wanda is the supervisor that works with her the most. And Irene and Diane are cashiers that have helped her along as well. Next page. So Gabby is a customized employment. Her referral date was November 27th of last year that we sent that 2 doors. Her date of eligibility was February 5th of this year. Her IPE initiation was February 23rd of this year. And what information was sent with the referral? At the time of the referral, we submitted the online DRS referral, and that was all at that point. It wasn't until later that we learned that we should or can send more info to make the process go smoother. And what additional information was required for disability or for determination was releases from the PCP, the school IEP, and testing. Okay, next page. So Gabby is employed at Schnucks. It's the leading grocer in the area. She is a bagger. She does have some accommodations. She has the job coach. And because of her health, she only brings in the small carts from the parking lot. The large ones are usually brought in by the males or people from other departments. And as from the store manager, he says we have constant and open communication with Gabby. Also, we ask her for her needs while scheduling her hours. Okay, next page. Okay. So, employment barrier, transportation at the start of employment was prior to working, Gabby had never drove a car without one of her parents with her. So at the start of employment, we went through a process with her to give her experience and comfort in driving herself to work. So the first week, I picked her up. The next week, I followed her. And then the next week, she drove independently. Loss of focus when she sees customers that she knows personally, teachers, friends, she'll kind of lose track of what she's doing. But when we give her verbal reminders to remain focused, that seems to work fine for her. So the pushing carts can be a struggle due to the weight. The carts are pretty heavy. They're plastic and they're bulky. So she can push one large cart at a time, or she can push 3 smaller carts at once. Okay. Online required training classes. She receives coaching when completing trainings at work. We just did a mass shooter protocol, and I help her with those. I let her answer, and then I support her in giving her answers. So the age requirement for employment, where she works, they do prefer over 18 or older. So they did make an exception for her. She was 17 when she was hired, but she turned 18 2 weeks after she was hired. Next page. Lessons learned. What did you learn with this customer's employment process? With Gabby, it was resilience and just to continue looking. We did a lot of interviews and we were always told, maybe we'll call you, never heard back. So just staying vigilant with that. And then what will you do differently with the next customer? And my main thing is I will do more interviewing prep so that they are comfortable with the questions that will be asked. And strategies to ensure the customer and employer remain satisfied, constant communication on both sides. Next. So these are Gabby's own words. What do you like best about your job and why? I like making my own money. Everyone is kind to me. Seeing my friends from my hometown shopping at my job. I love working with Diane, Irene, and Wanda because they are kind and now my friends. How does working at Schnucks and being a SWTC participant make you feel? She says, I was nervous at first, but now I'm excited. I can do this. I like making my own money and being able to do things on my own. And then what do you plan to or did you do with your first paycheck? She said, I went shopping at my favorite stores, Maurice's and JCPenney's. I bought a bunch of soft clothes that I like. I didn't spend it all. I'm trying to learn to save and invest so my money can make money for me. Okay. Next. Any questions?
Does anybody have questions for Michelle? This is Aletha speaking. Any general comments? Okay, well, Michelle, thank you so much for presenting Gabby to us. I had an opportunity to meet Gabby, as you know, and she's just an amazing young lady. I know that she is going to be very successful with SWTC under the support of the HHS team and Michelle. I want to say, though, that we have our team there. I want to acknowledge the whole team there at Human Support Services. Erica Coker is the supervisor, the employment services supervisor. We have Judy Raberman, who has joined our team as an employment specialist as well. And we also have as our VCU consultants, Carol Shaw and Lauren Avalon. I think two of the best consultants that we could have had assigned to us. And then lastly, but not least, I want to acknowledge our VR counselors, Tracy Williams and Dee Dee Hudson, for supporting the program there at Human Support Services. We are all one team. So I want to make sure and acknowledge the entire group. Thanks, everybody.